Welcome to the Tech Blog Writer Podcast, your guide to blogging on the LinkedIn publishing platform, and a roundup of all the latest tech stories in a language you understand. Now, over to your host, Neil Hughes.
Welcome back to another episode of the Tech Blog Writer Podcast. No matter who you are and what you do, I think it's fair to say that we all have a book inside of us. And let's be honest, it's never been easier than it is right now. No more printing and sending countless manuscripts off to a publisher just to get the rejection letter a few weeks later. Now, any of us has the power to publish our own book. And you can even take your dog for a walk now. Record your voiced thoughts as you're walking the streets or taking a hike, all while recording your voice on your phone. And then when you've finished, you can send it automatically to a company that will automatically subscribe it for as little as $1 a minute. So potentially you could come back from walking your dog or going up for a hike to find several chapters of your latest book waiting for you in your inbox. I mean, it doesn't get any easier than that. But assuming you have 30,000 words ready to be published, what do you do next? What format does it need to be in? What about artwork for your book? Have you considered that? And do you want to do an ebook? And do you know the difference between EPUB and .mobi files? And finally, what about navigating around Amazon and getting your book on there? If you're like me, you've probably had a great idea, came across all these talking points and questions and stumbling boxes and gave up because you know what, it's just too much hassle. But not anymore, because I invited the president of BookBaby, Stephen Spatz, onto the show today, and he's going to tell us how through a combination of both technology and the human touch, it is incredibly easy to get your own book, your own ideas out there and on Amazon. So buckle up and hold on tight, because I'm going to beam your ears to just outside Philadelphia so we can speak with Stephen Spatz, the president of BookBaby. So a big warm welcome to the show. Can you tell the listeners a little about who you are and what you do?
Hello there. Certainly. My name is Stephen Spatz. I'm the president of BookBaby.com. We're a self-publishing service company located here in the U.S. Main office is outside of Philadelphia, but we're one of a family of brands that have been serving the creative community, if you will, of musical artists, of filmmakers, and now for authors for about 70 years.
Wow, fantastic. I think that's so important now, especially because personal branding, it seems to be the big thing, isn't it? So many people listening will be thinking about publishing their own book, and I possibly include myself in that as well. But so many people are also held back by knowing exactly where to start. So can you tell the listeners about BookBaby, how it aims to make that process even easier, and also what makes it unique from there's so many solutions out there, isn't there?
Yes, there are a great deal of solutions, all the way from complete DIY, if you have the moxie and the interest to try to do technical coding, and then to a complete hand-holding by a full-service company. We're somewhere in the middle. We cater to especially the first-time author, the person who thinks they have a book in them and who doesn't, and we really cater to those. As we've been growing up in the marketplace and learning about self-publishing, we've really oriented our offerings towards that first-time person who, just as you say, they don't know anything about self-publishing. They know they have a book in them. They don't want to try to get an agent or find traditional publishing. That's such a long time. They want to get it out in the marketplace. So how we're a little different is that we do, number one, cater to these new folks who really just have that book in them and want to do that. Number two, we purposely made this into a people-oriented operation. We think publishing is a people business. So we have people on the phones, through email, through chat, that people can call us up, no charge at all, and just say, tell me about self-publishing. How do I do it? And they spend plenty of time on the telephone doing that. Plus, we turn them over to, we have some really good guides written. Modestly, I have to say, I wrote one this past Christmas, kind of combining all the information that's out there. One of the problems with starting self-publishing is there's just a huge tidal wave of information, and I think it confuses people, and they want it almost paralyzed at the start. And so we've kind of taken it down, and there's really only 5 things people need to know about self-publishing. How to finish your book, how to edit it, what kind of products you want. So we put it in this guide. It's about a 25 to 30 minute read, and once they do that, boy, they're ready to go out and self-publish.
So much of what you said there really resonated with me, because I've gone down the whole, and I've got this great idea for a book in me. Where do I start? You spend ages on YouTube and various websites trying to research what's best for you, and ultimately you still end up confused. But before we talk a bit more about that, I've got to ask, excuse the terrible pun, but what is the story behind BookBaby? Have you personally suffered some of the confusion around how to publish a book firsthand and then go on to inspire to create an easier solution? I mean, yeah.
That would be a lovely story, but really what drew us in were two things. Number one, as I say, this long legacy in the music business. We've been helping musicians get physical media done from CDs and DVDs, and then our sister company, CD Baby, is the world's largest independent music website. And for 15 years now, they've been getting people onto iTunes, Spotify, all the streaming services. So we have this deep knowledge and understanding of the needs and wants of these creative people, be it, in the past musicians and filmmakers, and now authors. So how BookBaby came about was about 6 weeks before the launch of Apple's iPad. They called us up, and we obviously were best friends with them from the music world, because about 20% of all the music on iTunes actually comes through our company. So they called us up and said, "Hey, we're launching this gee whiz cool device. You guys know anything about ebooks?" And we said, "Oh, sure we do," nodding our heads up and down, when in reality, no, we didn't know anything. So we quickly learned, and before long, we were distributing ebooks through the iPad, through the iBook stores, and then it went on from there. We added Amazon, we added 59 other bookstores. We got into the printing business. We've been printing materials for musicians for years and years. So we decided, we need to be a full service provider. So we have our own printing plant. I can walk out of my office 100 feet away and see what books are coming off the line. We have our own cover designers here, our own book formatters. We have an editing network. We decided we wanted to get everything that an artist or that an author possibly needs in the same way that we did for musicians. We've known how the indie music scene has played out with the demise and fall of the big record companies. We know what's going to be happening in the traditional publishing world. So we're well positioned with a deep understanding of, really kind of what's going to happen, what authors need.
So assuming that I have an idea for a book, and equally anybody listening to the show has got a great idea for a book, and they find themselves a little intimidated by the process and how to navigate that whole Amazon experience, which we'll get to later. But can you talk me through exactly what people should expect upon landing on the BookBaby website?
Well, first of all, it's filled with a ton of content. We knew that we needed to share information, so we do have a blog with all kinds of great resources. So if you get stuck on any one concept, say it's about what kind of ebook do I need to do, you can go onto our blog and type the search, and there's great resource materials there. But we really present you with, I would say, almost like a Chinese menu of offerings. If we don't lock you into a package, some crazy, high-priced, over-promising type of thing. You're able to go in and kind of pick and choose what you want. What the usual path is, frankly, is they come to our website, they see our phone number, they call 877-961-6878, which is our number, and they talk. And that's where the real exchange of information happens, at that human level. They develop a trust in us because, we're going to be their partners for a long, long time. If they publish and distribute through us, we're going to be collecting monies on their behalf for, out into eternity. So there needs to be that trust and bond. So we, unlike a lot of companies who just want to push you to the website and do everything digital, no, we think it's a warm, friendly, analog version to this whole process. And it's people, and you're talking to people who are authors, who are poets, who are bloggers. I would say 3/4 of my staff on the phone have either done a book or they're going to do a book. So they really know what they've been talking about because they've been through the process.
I love how you've merged those two worlds there, of the old analogue world and the current digital world. I think it's fantastic. So if I was to call you guys, a few questions that would instantly run into my head would be, what format do you expect the work to be presented in? Must it be double-spaced, for example? And what about cover art and design of the book? These are just a few things that would keep me up awake at night before I've even started, writing a single word.
And people come to us with all levels. Some of them come to us with their book all formatted. They got their own designer, and they have their own cover art done, and they literally hand us a finished product, and that's great. Some people just come to us saying, I have a book on paper. Can I get it scanned and into your database? And we help you do that. So, frankly, the important thing that we ask for our authors is write the best book they can, and then get it edited. And once they have done that, their part can essentially be over. Certainly there's decisions to be made, but really all the heavy lifting then can turn over to us, as much or as little as they want us to do. So we don't get hung up into saying, oh, it's got to be double spaced. No, if whatever the format comes in, I've got trained people who can quickly get it into the workable format for our press operators and things like that. So, our motto is we really want to let writers write and let us do the rest.
I've got to ask now, do you know a good editor as well then?
Well, as a matter of fact, we have an editing service, which I'm happy to talk about. By the way, right now we have a contest going on. We're giving away 31 editing packages, one for each day of the month of August. But if you go to our website, you'll be able to find the links to it very quickly. So we have a network of 750 editors who work. They're all around the globe. They work for some of the biggest publishing houses on the planet. So one day they're working on a New York Times bestseller. The next day they may be working on your book. And I've negotiated remnant rates for them so that our authors get tremendously high quality editing at very low prices. And it's been a great addition. We firmly believe that there is no book that doesn't need to be edited. The 10 Commandments, I think we used to be the 15 Commandments, and somebody edited 5 of them out and made them better. So everybody needs an editor, no matter how wonderful you think your writing is. It always is best to have a second pair of eyes.
So once you've got that book, it's completely edited and it looks fantastic. Yep. What happens once you've published a book? I mean, how do you get those physical copies to Amazon, for example?
Well, one of the greatest advances in publishing and printing the last 10 years really has been the advent of the digital press. In the olden days, to get your book out there, to get physical copies, you got to crank up a $100 million press, big offset, and before you've even run 10,000 books, that's the final break-even point where you can finally start making money on it. Digital presses now have quality that are really only a few types of book demand kind of offset this deep color. Most books look beautiful off digital press, and the wonderful thing is it costs about the same amount to print one book as it does 1,000. So how we're able to get our authors onto Amazon is through a service called Print on Demand, which is exactly what it is. There are no warehouses full of your books or books sitting in your mother's basements or things like that. No, we make the files available to Amazon. The process is you send your readers to Amazon or your own site, by the way, because we give people their own website. But the reader presses a button and say, yes, I want to buy that book. And orders go throughout Amazon, comes back to us. We print exactly one book, bind it, cut it, bind it, ship it to Amazon. Amazon ships it to the customer. The author doesn't have to do anything other than make his files available to us. All they get are the royalty checks coming from us. Their part in the hard work. No more shoving books into an envelope and having to fulfill it yourself. No, there are marvelous print-on-demand services. We think ours is the best because we have an incredibly wide distribution. Beyond Amazon, we go in through the big wholesale houses. Ingram and Baker and Taylor are the two large ones. So any bookshop in the world, if you have your local bookshop and you convince them to carry your book, you don't have to schlep a bunch of books and have them on consignment. No, they can go into either Ingram or Baker and Taylor. Those are the two catalogs that almost every bookstore in the world uses. And your book is listed right on there. They can order directly from them, just as they would be ordering from a bestseller.
And one of the most exciting things about what you guys do as well, I've recently read about, is the new Kindle Direct Publishing offer that is optimised especially for indie authors such as myself. So for those wanting to concentrate on writing rather than understanding, especially straight away, you're going to come across what is an EPUB, what is .mobi files, and all those different conversions. Can you tell me about that service and how it removes the pain point?
Absolutely. We are partners and friends with Amazon. We are their number one fans. Amazon's had a service called Kindle Direct, and they've made it an exclusive type of thing. So if you want to be on Kindle Direct, you can't distribute through anyone else. But what you're able to do is you're able to give the book away through Amazon. You're able to take part in Kindle Unlimited, which is their lending or their basically pay by the page type of program. authors have made a ton of money through that. But up to about a few months ago, they either had to choose to go to BookBaby, and we do distribute to Amazon, but we also distribute 59 other stores. So they had to choose either BookBaby or Kindle Select. And we didn't want to have to make independent authors have to make that choice. So now we offer a service where they come to BookBaby, we get their book already, we do the conversions into the EPUB and the Mobi, as you mentioned. We do all the technical heavy lifting, and then we just send the book to Amazon and put it in the Kindle Direct program. It's a 90-day block of time. They're exclusive into Amazon. When the author says, okay, great, I've gotten my good out of that program, I want to distribute to the other 59 stores, they literally go into their account, press a button, and we take care of all the rest. We take it down from the Kindle program, redistribute it through the other part of Amazon, and then send it out to the other 59 stores like iBooks and Kobo and Google Play and Overdrive and all, we really are big into worldwide distribution. Amazon is obviously a dominant player here in the U.S. and in the U.K., but in Germany, they're number 4. In Japan, they're not even on the radar. So we have relationships with the top stores in every territory practically around the world to get your books into those type of stores.
Now, one question I've got to ask you guys is, once you get your book out there, anyone looking at promoting their material will instantly find Amazon's bestseller hacks or people promising how to get that book higher up those charts. I mean, how do you feel about a lot of those sites? I mean, is it something you guys distance yourself from?
It is, and we hear about this all the time, and we get calls from people. No, at this point, I have to play the part of like your doctor. When you're going in and perhaps you put a few pounds on over the holidays and, doc, how can I get rid of this weight? Well, there's really only 2 ways, and that's diet and exercise. No, we encourage authors. They've got to do the hard work, and that starts with, making the best book they can, having it edited, and then taking your time to do some of the what seems like little petty details, but we had an author the other day where you can put keywords in your Amazon account to help you to be found. And we opened up he said, I wasn't getting any sales. We opened up his account and his keywords were all wrong. They were sending authors or prospective readers to a whole different area of the bookstore. So as soon as we changed his keywords and what category he's in, his sales started to take off. So it's these kinds of details of the metadata, as they call it, which is data about data, unsexy as it can be, but it's the information about your book that's going to show up in Amazon, in the Ingram catalog, so that bookstore buyers or your readers will know where to find it. And there's just no substitute for paying attention to the details so that your book can be found.
So what kind of budget does an indie author need to work with you guys? Whether he's already got a book, he or she has already got a book out there and want a little bit of extra help on Amazon to starting right from scratch and taking your editing service right through to the end. I mean, what kind of budget is needed there?
Well, so if you're an author, let's go with the other extreme. Say that you have your manuscript finished and you want to optimize it and get it out there anyway. For about $1,000, we can do everything for you, and that includes doing cover design, both ebooks and printed books. That's formatting, making your interior of your book beautiful for both ebooks and printed books. We will print you about 25 books for that price. We will convert your Word document into those necessary EPUB readers, the Mobi and the EPUB, and give you a proof to make sure it looks good. And then finally, we'll give you, worldwide distribution, both through on your print book and your ebook. Process takes anywhere between, 3 weeks to 6 weeks, depending upon how many times proofs are passed over. So that's for like the full meal deal of $1,000. If you just want ebook production and distribution, that's about $250. If you just want cover design, that's about $250. So we do offer any part of our service. They don't have to take the whole full meal. If they just want a little snack of a new cover for their ebook, we're happy to work with them on those ways.
Fantastic. So if there is somebody that's aiming for that at the moment, now before they get to you guys, I appreciate there isn't a one-size-fits-all, but is there a kind of word count or page count that people should kind of ballpark aim for?
Yes, and you know what? Not enough people realize that at the first. And that's a great one to again, I would encourage people to go into our blog. Every genre, every type of book has that expected number of words that are expected. We still get the occasional person who, hey, I've got a romance novel. It's 290,000 words. Well, that's great. You've got 4 novels, not 1. So again, you could go onto our blog, type in the search box word count, and we have a dozen articles in there that give you the latest and greatest about what you should think about. Your typical fiction book is 60,000. Your kid's book is obviously much shorter. A YA is about 40,000. It breaks it down by category, what our recommendations are.
Fantastic. I think you're going to have inspired a lot of people listening today.
Well, I hope so.
So can you point the listeners in the direction of your website, how they can contact your team if they have any questions about anything we've talked about, and also details around that contest? Because I think this is going live on Thursday the 24th.
Fantastic. All right, so you go to bookbaby.com is our website. Our phone number, toll-free in the States, is 877-961-6878. And to take advantage of this editing contest, as I say, we're calling August is the month of editing, and there are 31 days in August, so we're giving away 1 editing package, which, editing package can be worth up to $2,500 to $3,000. We're giving away 31 of these, 1 a day. All you got to do is enter once to be eligible for 1 of the 31. You don't have to enter 31 times, just enter once, and you basically look for us on our Facebook page or our Twitter page is probably the best way to go in and find us quickly. Just search on Facebook for BookBaby or search on Twitter for BookBaby, and you'll see all the details about the contest. We've gotten great results. As I say, we strongly feel like every book needs to be edited. So we want to really introduce our editing services by allowing 31 lucky folks from around the planet to make their book the best it can be.
Well, huge thanks for coming on the show today. I always say at the end of every episode that technology works best when it brings people together. But you're actually bringing authors and indie authors around the world, all over the world together. But most importantly of all, you're not losing the human element there.
Absolutely.
You don't just want to go to a website and put an order in and then have to chat with a chatbot or something. Sometimes you just need to speak to someone. So for those reasons alone, I appreciate what you do. So a big thank you for coming on today.
Thank you very much, Neil. I appreciated it. Enjoyed it.
Having spoke to Stephen both during the show and afterwards, it's easy to see why BookBaby has grown to become that big self-publishing company that it is now and enjoying such great success. But it's their people-powered publishing ethos that really appeals to me. And also that there isn't a call centre in sight, but a team of authors, poets, bloggers and artists, all who are dedicated into helping each other and writers self-publish successfully. From first-timers to veterans, novelists to photographers, it seems that they've helped thousands prove that it doesn't take the traditional publishing deal to bring your dream to life. But again, it's that friendly customer service and knowledgeable publishing specialist that is the most attractive feature to me. Because I don't want to be chatting to chatbots on some big tech behemoth site. I want to actually speak to someone and be able to try and convey my ideas and my thoughts and for them to bring it to life. So I'm going to have a think about what kind of book I can produce. But if you are an author or a wannabe author, please, I've got a favour to ask. Can you share your experiences with me, with all the listeners here, whether that be with BookBaby or an alternative service? Please let me know and I'll share it with the listeners. So keep those questions and feedback coming in because we can learn so much from each other. And that's just one of the many things that I love about recording this show.
Neil would love to get your voice heard on the Tech Blog Writer podcast. Do you have a question that you would like Neil to read out on the show? Simply record an audio message on your phone using an app like iMessenger or WhatsApp and just send it over to techblogwriter@outlook.com.
I feel a strong urge to tap away at my keyboard like Jessica Fletcher listening to the Murder, She Wrote theme. So I'm going to make my excuses and skedaddle right now. But before I do go, a big thank you to Stephen Spatz for coming on today, and an even bigger thank you to you guys and dolls for listening. So I'll be back tomorrow with another great guest. But until next time, don't be a stranger.
Thanks for listening to the Tech Blog Writer podcast. Until next time, remember, technology is best when it brings people together.